Welcome to Haunt Weekly.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And this is Haunt Weekly, a weekly podcast for the haunted attraction and entertainment community. Whether you're an actor, owner, or just plain aficionado, we aim to be a podcast for you. And we return to you this week back home.
Yes.
We have made it back. We actually arrived earlier than anticipated.
Yeah, we pushed through and we were able to get home at a reasonable hour for us.
We were visiting, as you might remember from previous episodes, we were visiting Haunters Against Hate the event in Lexington, Kentucky.
Yes.
It's about 10 and a half hours from where we are, drive time. On the way up, we did break it up into 2 days.
Yeah.
Which I think was probably a good thing. Mm-hmm. But on the way back, we looked at when we'd be arriving and just decided to do it.
Yeah.
It was rough, it was tiring, it's exhausting, and we're dead tired from everything right now.
Right.
But yes, we had a great time. We have a lot to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But first thing is first, do check out more Haunt Weekly at hauntweekly.com, Haunt Weekly on Twitter, Haunt Weekly on Facebook, and youtube.com/Haunt Weekly. We have a lot of interesting things coming up. We are resuming our journey to build our haunt soon. Mm-hmm. That'll be a major focal point, I think, in the coming weeks and months.
Yeah.
Because we've not been able to open since 2018.
And the garage has kind of become a garage.
Yeah, we've got a lot we have to take care of, and we're going to get started on that in earnest. And now that it appears like things are actually lining up for it.
I hope so.
So we got a lot of work to do. But yeah, stay tuned. Also, we'll have mentions. We'll discuss this as we go through, I'm sure. But we may be on some other podcasts coming up soon. So stay tuned to social media channels for that announcement.
Yes.
Those announcements.
Sometime, not next episode, but the one after that, we'll probably have a guest on. I believe that
was a news episode, though.
Okay.
So.
47 is what I'm
Oh, yeah, 47. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot we're on 45.
Yeah, we're on 45.
Jesus.
Yeah, the 7 at the end is the one I'm thinking of. Because that'll time out about when we've been having guests on.
Yes,
and you'll be able to catch us live at 8 p.m. Central on Sunday.
On Facebook.com/Haunt Weekly is the destination. So definitely, if you're interested in participating in the live events, we try to do them about monthly. We love the chat. We love the feedback. We love the input. Mm-hmm. Please follow us, Facebook.com/Haunt Weekly to get notifications of those. Mm-hmm. But yeah. So we're back at Haunters Against Hate the weekend, and we're doing something a little unusual because of the time crunch and everything. We don't have actual show notes.
Right, not at all.
None at all. We literally, for the first time in a long time, we're doing the show without screens, even in front of us.
Yeah.
But we have a lot we want to talk about. Like I said, Haunters Against Hate the event was 3 days of a lot of love and a lot of neat stuff here. Paul and the Haunters Against Hate organization put together a very interesting show, very good show. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we're going to start discussing it, I guess. First thing for us was getting there. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to spend too much time on that, but man, that is a drive. And it's so weird because, like, for us, the way we came in, the last hour, 90 minutes of it or so on that parkway.
Yes.
Is nothing.
On the Kentucky Bluegrass
Parkway? Yeah, here's I can tell you. Nothing.
No.
Literally nothing.
There's a castle on it.
There is a castle.
At the very end of it, there's finally something interesting to look at.
Yeah, right as I think you're inside Lexington by that point. I think you're actually inside the city limits by that point.
Yeah.
But if you're not, you're very close.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was an actual castle. It apparently is a pretty cool micro hotel, restaurant, meeting venue space, that type of stuff. So, that's a thing. Mm-hmm. And we looked up a little bit of history of that. But yeah, so getting there for us was difficult. We chose not to fly for a lot of reasons. One being airline prices are insane right now.
And a lot of our friends who have tried to go by air recently have not been able to. And have had their flights canceled and missed events and stuff.
Yeah, generally, we prefer to drive if we can, simply because it gives us a car when we're there.
Yeah. And some freedom and independence that we wouldn't have if we flew in.
Yeah. So, we were sponsors of the event, but we submitted our sponsorship too late.
Yeah.
Our logos wasn't on the thing. That's sad, but I also completely understand because with the issues with your work and trying to figure out if we can go.
Yeah.
Because we were working right until the last possible minute. In fact, we're working overtime because we're still trying to resolve it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm actually supposed to be off today, but I am. So there you go. So anyway, on to other things.
Yeah, but yeah, it was cool. And as we've talked about Hunters Against Hate a lot, and how great of an organization they are, and how much we love the work that they're doing.
Right.
But yeah, this was our first time attending the event. They had one last year. Mm-hmm. We were not able to go.
Right.
But this time around, we were able to make it. It was held at the Clarion North Lexington Conference Center, which that is a surprisingly huge hotel.
Yeah, and it's really nice.
So, yeah.
I liked the room. The chair could have used some work, but the room itself was fine.
Yeah, you can tell it's an older hotel that they've been renovating. Mm-hmm. It really does have that vibe of a hotel where certain things have been refreshed and revised and other things have not.
Yeah.
Like the couch and the carpet were definitely not from this decade.
And the office chair.
And the office chair were not from this decade. But everything else in the room was relatively fresh and recent. Yeah. So I can't complain. And it was one of the first times I've ever stayed at a conference hotel.
Yeah.
During the event. We've done it a few other times. And it's something in general, especially if you don't have a car, I recommend.
Yes.
I really do recommend that because it's just so much easier on you. Like with this one, we were able to go back to the room and take 15-minute breaks and 30-minute breaks and things. Mm-hmm. Catch a nap, go right back at it.
Yeah, because this is the first time that we've been at a conference and around that many people in 3 years.
Yeah, I've realized my conference stamina isn't where it was pre-COVID.
Exactly. Yeah, I need breaks from people occasionally.
Yeah, and I get to bounce right back and go to Houston tomorrow for a court date.
I know.
That'll be fun. I'm serving as an expert witness, so that'll be a lot of people. Yeah. I'm not excited about this at all.
No, I know. I'm sorry.
It's all right. But anyways, one thing I found very interesting about the event was that it started at 12:30 on a Friday, so after lunch on a Friday. And a lot of the events that were held on Friday were also held on Saturday.
Right.
The drag show was held both days. The talk we went to, which we'll get into in just a second, was held both days. A lot of stuff had overlap between multiple days of the event. But Friday, the main thing we did was get checked in. We did almost all of our shopping.
Yeah.
Nearly all of our shopping. And when we get into more general stuff after we just do a kind of a blow-by-blow, I have a ton of great things to say about the vendors.
Yeah, me too.
I have a lot of great things to say about the vendors. Mm-hmm. But we went to a talk about improv and haunting.
Right.
And I forgot to pull up see, this is why we have to have screens.
Yeah, I know.
So
it was Andrea and Ava who gave the talk.
Yes, they did an excellent job. And really, the whole point of the talk was how to get the actors in your haunt to engage with improv as a way of honing their actor skills inside the haunt.
Right.
And their whole point was that acting, or haunt acting in particular, is an improv art. Mm-hmm. It really and truly is. And the result of that is if you can get your actors to play improv games, get good at them, get to where they really are able to just sort of master that art
and build off of each other.
And build off each other and anything they're fed from a customer. Mm-hmm. Because as we're going to discuss in a minute, sometimes that's an issue. You've got to be able to respond to a customer in a way that is positive and helpful. Yeah. And actually furthers the scene rather than shuts it down.
Yeah, they were from Curse of the Bayou.
Curse of the Bayou, yes. Thank you. Like I said, it was a great talk, and I really enjoyed this. Now, the only downside was the Friday sessions were not... Friday was not a busy day this.
No, it was not. We had 4 people in the class with us.
And that wasn't enough to do the games they wanted to do. However, they were able to demonstrate the games themselves, so that was good enough. And honestly, I wasn't super keen on the idea
Of getting up and acting.
Yeah, getting up and acting right then. And it's weird. I have no issue public speaking.
Right.
But I need a crowd.
Yeah.
It's so awkward getting up and doing that stuff in front of just like a couple of people. It's so tough. And I have a lot of respect for anybody that's ever given a talk in front of a very, very small crowd like that. Mm-hmm. But no, the information they passed on was really good. Some very simple games you can play, some ideas, ways to improve, and also the basic rules of improv, which I had not heard that. We've taken other courses about improv and haunting. I don't think I've seen those rules.
Right. One of the main takeaways was the yes and of improv, which is you affirm a statement and add to it to keep the scene going.
Yeah. Like if I say, it's raining outside, you don't say, no, it's not, it's bright sunny. Yeah. That just shut down everything. But you say something like,
we should get our umbrellas so that when we go to the car.
Should I get the pink one or the black one? And that's another good one there is, don't ask questions unless you're adding information with a question.
Right.
And that was an example of doing that. Because, hey, we have 2 umbrellas now, a pink one and a black one. Mm-hmm. And then you just keep going from there is the idea, and you try to keep the scene going. It's a bit like tennis.
Yeah. Yeah, they were much more prepared than we
were. They did much better.
They prepared for their improv.
Yeah. That was actual improv, is what we're saying.
This whole podcast is really.
Yeah, that's true. But so the basic idea, and to summarize the rules most importantly, the yes and was the key. And so, but to apply this to a haunt, if a customer says something to you, like, I'm not scared of you, don't go, no, you are. Go, well, you should be, or something like that. Give an affirmation and try to, because I'm going to blah, blah, blah,
Well, that's okay if you're not scared of me. I can eat your hair anyway.
Exactly.
Or take your skin or whatever you're pretending to do that you're not actually going to do.
Yeah, when a customer says something to you, don't shut it down. Go with it and add to it.
Yeah.
It's a jiu-jitsu thing.
Yeah, and I realize that I improv a lot with our customers because our customers are different than customers that I've seen in big haunts, in that they will play with our actors more than they do at big haunts.
Oh, yeah.
At big haunts, customers generally, I don't know what it is. And we get 2 types of customers, the ones that go run screaming through the entire time and the ones that want to challenge us. And I think it's because we're small.
Yeah. People, I don't know. And I think that's just that the smallness of us works both for and against us.
Yeah. Well, and I think that it also could be that they have been to our haunt before. They know they're safe and they feel comfortable.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot to unpack right there. But yeah, I mean, I love this improv course, and it's something I'm going to take to heart. I know when I'm working in Q Line, I'm going to be working on the expanding and trying not to shut down the conversation so quickly. Because I mean, I'm pretty sure I have done no's. Yeah. And shut things down unintentionally, not even realizing what I was doing.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Now we're a little bit smarter and wiser about that. I really love that talk. They did a great job, and thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was very, very interesting. Mm-hmm. But most of the day for us was really the trade show floor.
Yes.
And, because it was a compacted day, because it was 12:30 to about 5. Mm-hmm. So we only had realistically 4.5 hours. And we're trying to make sure we get to all the people we got to get to. But it was a little bit nice for us, because since it wasn't so packed that day, we were able to move very freely around, and we got a lot done and got nearly all of our shopping done on that half day. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. And I'm going to say this, I'll say it again later, but if there's 2 things I really love about this conference, it's the vendors and the other visitors.
Yeah.
The people at this convention, both vendor and visitor, were just amazing, full stop.
Yes. I agree with that.
Such a diverse group of people, in most respects at least.
Yeah.
But such interesting people, such very pretty people. My God. I feel fucking old at this conference, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I was. It warmed my heart to see so many young haunters.
Yes. Being
part of the community and being there.
And this was
being themselves.
Yeah.
So.
this was a great conference. So we got most of our shopping done, and we bought a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if we didn't get something from every single booth. Or almost.
I think we might have missed like 3.
Yeah, if we did, it wasn't because we didn't like it.
Yeah.
It was because we just didn't have a place for it, probably. Because we already bought way more than I can figure out where the fuck we're putting it all.
But we also bought gifts for our actors.
Yes, we bought.
That's one of the things we tried to do was get something small for everybody.
Yeah, everybody gets a little something, and it's really cool stuff. I mean, there was a good variety of stuff, and the prices were, honestly, I think, too low.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people were not charging
adequately and
what they should.
And that is an easy mistake.
It is. It's something that I talk about with new artists and creators all the time about be sure that you're getting paid for your work and your time.
Yeah, because something may have only cost you $1 or $2 to make.
Yeah.
But if it took you 2 hours to make it,
right,
you need to charge for that time, and you need to charge yourself a living wage plus.
Yeah, exactly. Plus cost.
Plus cost, plus the additional time you're going to have selling it. You got to factor in all the time.
Exactly.
And honestly, the system I would use is if you assume a living wage is $15 an hour, which it isn't anymore, I know, but whatever, just work with me here. I would charge $30 an hour.
Yeah.
So if something takes you 2 hours to make, 60 is your floor.
Yeah.
I think that's about what I would do.
I think that's fairest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it's something like you're making 20 of something in the 60 minutes, like I bet the little ghosties we bought.
Yeah.
They were probably making a lot of those at once.
Yeah.
I'm sure, but just make sure you got $60 worth of merch out of that when it's to 2 hours.
Right.
So if you make 10 ghosts or whatever, I'm just making this up as I go now, sell each for $6.
Yeah.
You can make small things, basically, but but anyways, no, the vendors were excellent. Just all around wonderful. I can't think of anyone that was bad or out of place.
No. And the special guest celebrities that were sitting on the trade show floor most of the days were really nice and approachable. They loved to talk about, their movies that they were in. Yeah,
and we're going to talk about 2 of them. And I guess we can start Saturday night because, Friday night,
we went to the haunted house.
The Wicked World Scaregrounds.
Yeah. They only had one of the haunts open.
Yeah, this event was, I want to be honest, was a little bit frustrating.
Yeah.
Is because we bought our ticket, or our wristband, rather, at the trade show floor.
Right.
Because we didn't, because A, it was $4 cheaper, and B, why wouldn't I? I'm there. Yeah. And I already know I'm going.
Exactly.
It'd be stupid not to. So I bought it there. I did not know this when we bought it, that they had put out a call on Facebook and were opening for the general public that day too.
Yeah, and it makes sense.
And it makes sense. It is fine. I'm not upset about that. I'm upset I didn't know. There's a difference.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit angry about that because we got there and it was, first off,
a crush of humanity.
It was a crush of humanity. And here's the thing. Some of the locals that were there were definitely not people that would approve of Haunters Against Hate.
Right.
There were some very obvious people there that were not, LGBTQ positive, not against racism. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not on the side. And you could tell, and it was kind of like, well, these aren't the conference people. What's going on? I was confused. And then we did the dumb thing, which was we stood in line to get in, which took about 25 minutes of time before someone saw our wristbands and go, oh, you don't have to come in. This is the line to buy tickets.
Yeah.
We had no idea.
We had waited in line for 20 minutes to get to the front of it. And there were people who went walking up and down the line several times and never said anything.
And I was trying to show, the wristband was very visible.
Yeah, it was like neon yellow.
Oh.
So.
Yeah. I was trying to show it.
Yeah.
Trying to flash the badge, so to speak. And no one caught on until the very end. And so we wasted 20 minutes in that line, and because we were way back in the queue for the haunt, we spent probably another 20 minutes in that line that we shouldn't have.
Yeah.
So what could have been a 5 to 10 minute wait for us became a 50-ish minute wait.
Right.
And that was really frustrating.
Yeah, if you know anything about us, we hate waiting in lines, especially when there's other things to do.
Yeah. And, we had stuff we wanted to do. As for the haunt itself, it was, I want to be honest, it was a little bit frustrating. As you can tell, and it was kind of like, well, these aren't the conference people. What's going on? I was confused. And then we did the dumb thing, which was we stood in line to get in, which took about 25 minutes before someone saw our wristbands and go, oh, you don't have to come in. This is the line to buy tickets. We had no idea. it was loaded with copyright infringing characters.
Yeah.
Just absolutely loaded. I don't think there was a single original character in Haunt. And if you've listened to this podcast any length of time, you know how much that drives me in particular crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really hard for me to focus on anything else about it. They were clearly having some issues.
Mm-hmm.
There were portions of the Haunt that were flooded. I don't know why or how. It had rained earlier that day.
But not for a few hours.
Not for a few hours. And apparently that was a problem the next day, too.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, the portions of it were flooded. And I'll say this. A lot of their actors clearly have been very well trained.
Yeah. Yeah, the actors had great timing.
Yeah.
They did the thing where a lot of them looked like props, and then they would make big sudden movements.
And then retreat very quick, too.
Yeah.
Get the startle and get back.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that is so hard to teach people, but they've clearly found a way to communicate. And it was kind of funny because the best actual startle in it was literally the first fucking corner in the Haunt for me. Because we're walking in, we're going to the first room, and usually you assume you have like 5 seconds of invincibility when you're going in. And this is after the rule speech with Mrs. Bates.
Yeah.
But we're going in, and just the first corner, there's an actor doing exactly what we described. Looks like a prop, big sudden movement, retreat, right from the peripheral, perfect attack angle, perfect timing. And Jesus Christ got us in the 5 seconds, I think I'm safe inside a Haunt.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that's good. So yeah, I mean, I was frustrated by all of the copyright infringing characters, and I've realized how dumb it is to have your Jasons and your Mike Myers and your mute killers.
Yeah.
They can't interact.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that until this
They can look intimidating. They can
move quick. They can do the startles.
Bang walls.
Yeah.
But
they can't interact. They can't say anything. Like, okay, once again, I'm not in favor of using copyright infringing characters, but they had a Pennywise. And it was a modern version of Pennywise, the remake they did recently. Points, if you're going to be Pennywise, be the best fucking Pennywise I've ever seen.
Yeah.
What the dude did.
Yeah.
Straight fire, no lie.
Yeah.
He was the best fucking Pennywise I have ever seen. He moved like Pennywise. He talked like Pennywise. He acted like Pennywise.
Did the little dance.
I could have sworn he was fucking Pennywise.
Yeah.
So you know what? If you're going to do it, go all in. And he did it. So yeah, that's a big difference though. That was a much more engaging character.
Right.
Because he could talk, he could interact with us, he could fuck with us in different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. That part, even though I'm not in favor of using copyright infringing characters, and honestly, I think that could have worked as any clown character. It was fun. That was actively fun. So yeah, the Haunt was a bit hit and miss. And I know, and I always hate commenting too much on Haunts in the off season.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what construction they're doing, what they're going to be working on. This is and right now is such a weird time to be visiting a Haunt, full stop.
It is.
Because this is construction season. So I don't know if I say like, oh, this room had terrible decoration, they could legitimately come back and say, well, yeah, that room is in mid teardown.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't want to do that, say anything like that. But you know, I feel like the copyright infringing characters are already there. They did not have an explanation for why they were there.
Yeah, and it didn't really make
any sense with the scenes.
Yeah, they weren't in their scenes. Like, why is a girl telling me about a legend inside of,
a wedding? Was it a wedding scene?
It was a casket scene.
Casket scene, okay.
That's really about Jason in the next scene.
Yeah, it was.
It was odd.
Like, I remember the one Haunt in Houston that said, the terror of the screen comes to life.
Yeah.
And that's where they just stuck all those characters. And you know what? Still not in favor of it. But at least you gave me a reason. You gave me a kayfabe reason why they're there. And I can just kind of go with the flow a little easier.
Yeah.
Here it's like, oh, we're dealing with Mrs. Bates first. Then it's right into, I can't remember which one was next, but we saw Pinhead, we saw Jason, Freddy, we saw the Silent Hill nurses, Pyramid Head.
Anon.
Yeah, we saw a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we went there, and basically after that, we found a bar near the hotel, crashed, chatted about the day, planned for tomorrow. And then tomorrow came.
Yeah.
Saturday was the day.
Yes. It was very full.
It went from being wow, I'm a little bit worried about this conference, to, oh shit, it's way crowded.
Yeah.
It went like that, just over that night. So I'm glad we got all the shopping we got done Friday.
Yeah.
Because we were not going to be able to pull that off Saturday.
No, it was very packed in there Saturday.
Yes. We did go to a couple talks that day. I'm pulling up my schedule so I can remember which ones we did too.
We went and saw Mark Patton speak about Nightmare on Elm Street 2, and the character of Jesse.
Yeah. And one of the things I found, because we actually did 2 talks that day, and I'm going to go ahead and put them together because the same subject came up.
Okay.
In both. We also saw Maximus's, sorry.
Yeah, we saw that Maximus's.
This was at the end. The Global Haunt Network Terror Around the World workshop, where they brought in, via Zoom, people from all over the world, basically.
Yes, and we saw Geek Wellness Mental Health Saturday.
Yes, we did. Okay. Yes, we did.
So we had 3
we
went to.
Okay, but I'm going to do those 2, even though Geek Wellness sits in the middle of them chronologically, because the thing that came up in Mark Patton's I found so interesting was he talked about how the character Jesse was not originally written to be gay.
Right.
He came in as a gay man playing the role, and elements of that seeped into the character and were eventually written in, and it moved forward.
Yeah, exactly.
And it became more canonized and canonized and became formalized. One of the questions that came up in Terror Around the World was, how do we be more inclusive with our characters? And because they were talking mostly about legends and stories, which is one of my favorite topics in haunting.
Yeah, exactly.
So I absolutely love this talk, and we'll come back to it a little more. But at the end of it, how do we include more LGBTQIA, other characters? And one of the problems we had was, if you're running a haunted house, the hero is the customer.
Yeah.
So the only characters we control are villains and victims. And you don't want to make a character be gay and make them be a villain because they're gay. Right. You don't want to push that.
No.
But the thing, like Mark Patton taught us, though, I think, is when you actively seek out LGBTQ people, that will seep into the characters. When you have the presence, when you have the representation in your haunt, you'll have the characters. It'll come in. And so I think that was a very, very important thing to talk about there. But Mark Patton was excellent. It was a great talk. It wasn't much of a Q&A. It was more of a he did
conversation.
It was a conversation, we'll say. That's well put. He definitely is someone that has a lot of thoughts about how the world has changed for LGBTQ people in the last 40 years or so.
Yeah, I mean, he was treated poorly enough that he left acting for a long time.
Yeah, he went to, as he put it in his words, at the end of a dirt road in the middle of nowhere in Mexico, where he and his partner lived. Yeah. And it's like, damn.
Yeah. That's until recently, whenever someone came knocking
and recruited him for a documentary. Yeah. The documentary led to other things.
Right. A Scream Queens documentary. Yeah. And then he's also been in Shallow recently. Yes. So he's getting work again.
Yeah, he's actually working again. And he said he's loving it now. He said he's having more fun with it now than he did then.
Yeah, and he would love to come back as the son of Freddy to the franchise, which is interesting.
Yeah, an interesting idea. So Mark was awesome. I did not know much about him going into this, I admit.
No.
I was familiar with the character's existence, but that was about it.
Yeah, I think by that point, by the time it came out, I was banned from watching horror films.
Yeah. So no, but we also did the mental health one.
Yeah.
Which this one is interesting because basically the point of the talk was there needs to be an exploration into the mental health benefits of being a haunter.
Yeah, of being the scary person.
We know people like Margie Kerr have done great work in analyzing the benefits and the science behind fear.
Right.
And why people seek opportunities to get scared. But why do people seek opportunities to scare?
Yeah, and they talked they showed a brief documentary about 15 minutes where they interviewed several haunters with
various mental health issues.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. And how the haunt helped them.
And one of the things that kept coming up over and over and over again was that sense of community, that sense of friendship and fellowship you get.
Right. Yeah, they didn't feel alone.
Yeah, and that is just it. Like, a key part, and one of the points they made was that one of the key elements of trauma is that you are alone in it. Even if you are with others, you feel alone. At a haunt, you never feel alone. Was one of the points. It was a really interesting talk. It seemed more like it was laying the groundwork for future work rather than necessarily imparting. Because the speaker himself said he's not a psychiatrist, he's not a healthcare professional, he's a patient. And then those are his words, not mine. And I'm gonna make sure I get his name right. Oh, his name's not in the thing. Okay. But anyways, it was an interesting talk, and I really, really wish I could share the documentary right now.
Yeah.
I really wish I could, because it was a good documentary. It was very powerful. But unfortunately for us, they're not releasing it online until October.
Right.
So whenever that does get posted, we will share it with you. It feels kind of weird to wait that long. But I also understand strike while the iron is hot type thing too. So, but it's a good documentary. And it's only, I think it was 12 minutes and some change. It's between 10 and 15 minutes. It's well worth a watch when it does appear, and we'll be sure to link it and help put it out there. Yeah, and then we went to the Maximus's Terror Around the World. We talked a little bit about that already.
We went to the drag show too, but that's true. That's separate.
There was a scheduling issue. Karaoke got bumped.
Yeah.
And then the drag show got bumped. So there was an overlap between the drag show and Maximus's talk. But we went to Maximus's talk, and unfortunately, because the drag show was going on at the same time, it did not get the attention it deserved. And I really enjoyed this talk, and Maximus has hit me up like, yeah, any advice, anything I can do to improve, let me know. I'm like, dude, I thought you did pretty fucking good. I don't really have much to say. I'm the type of guy I would tell you to your face if I thought you needed to change something. I'm perfectly comfortable telling you that, but no, I thought it was really fucking good, and all the people on the Zoom call were great too. I mean, you had a great international presence. Had someone from Scotland, a couple from Australia, a guy from the Pacific Northwest here in the United States, and of course Maximus is from Ohio and currently in Kentucky. You had good representation of the haunt community, the global haunt community.
Yeah.
And I mean, right now, haunting is so much an American phenomenon. It's getting there.
Right.
It's rapidly getting there, I think. But yeah, you had a good realistic representation, I think. And it was a lot of good ideas about how to incorporate local legends, how to build off the fears people actually have in the area, which was one of the ideas I thought was interesting. Because you find out that people in certain regions are scared of certain things.
Right. Yeah, and I found it interesting that that Kate and Scott, I believe was the Australian couple's name, were already doing their haunt theme based on pandemic life. Yeah. Because I'm not sure how I feel about that. Like, I get it. It makes total sense. But we're still kind of in it.
And for those that did lose people, I mean, okay, the experience was a little different in Australia. The death toll was a lot lower there.
Right. And they're doing it in a totally, different way than I've heard other people talk about it. But yeah, it was interesting, and at the end we got to talking about inclusion and haunting, and I realized that no one's really approached it from the side of the customer. Yeah. Because, I said, as a customer going in, I would love to see something that tells me that I'm going to be welcomed in this environment. And we spend so much time thinking about our actors, which is really important, and our staff and everybody who puts on the show. But you also have to remember you're doing it for your customer at the end of the day. Yeah.
I agree. And it's interesting because we were discussing this with Ellie, actually, who did come to the conference with us. And but
she really enjoyed the talk, and unfortunately had to leave to go to get
the raffle.
The raffle.
We won some stuff, so it was a good thing she did.
Yeah,
we won some pretty neat stuff. But anyways, well, she also ducked out of the conference because she's looking to open a yarn store to visit. But she ducked out of the conference for about an hour or so to check out a local yarn store that she almost didn't go to.
Right.
Because she was concerned with the name Rebelle, Rebelle, I think so.
Yeah.
That this was a Confederacy thing.
Right.
And meanwhile, she found out that wasn't the case online before she went.
Right.
But when she got there, she told them about it, and they never thought about it from that perspective.
No. They never thought that somebody would worry about coming to their store because of their name choice.
Yeah. It was... And it was the pairing of the rebel theme with Kentucky, even though Kentucky is its own complicated ball of wax in that area.
Yeah, well, and it was Belle spelt as Southern Belle.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was just, yeah. But that's not what they're about. We're happy to report. But
they are, and Ellie bought a whole lot of shit there. So it's apparently a very good store. If you're in the area,
and
recommend.
You do yarn stuff.
There's a recommendation. I can throw out a recommendation.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're cool. Let's see, and yeah, like I said, we did attend most of the drag show. Mm-hmm. I actually spent a lot of the drag show, though, talking to Judy O'Day.
Right.
From Night of the Living Dead. And I don't want to go too much into it here, because this is not a copyright podcast, but Night of the Living Dead lapsed into the public domain immediately after release due to frankly, a dumb mistake made by people editing the film.
Yeah, and it's a shame that at that point in time, there was not a way to fix it, an easy way to fix it.
And I wanted to know from her perspective if it had impacted her in any way. And it did, because she was one of the cast members that was also an investor in the film and was banking on residuals that never came. Now, there's a whole lot of interesting stuff I did learn from the other person that was there about how they're working to protect it now. And go to plagiarismtoday.com. The minute I get some free time, which isn't going to be for a bit, I'm going to do this article because it's a lot of fun, and I may actually save it in the bank for October.
Yeah, and we may even link it off of Haunt Weekly since we're talking about it here.
Yeah, so I don't want to go too deep, but I'll say this, though. Judith O'Day, an amazingly sweet woman.
Yes.
And, dear God, smart as fuck. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, obviously everyone from Night of the Living Dead is now at an advanced age. Mm-hmm. And so you always kind of wonder, how am I going to how's talking with him going to go? No, she's the smartest person in the fucking room.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Running circles around you.
Yeah, no shit. So yeah, we had that. We did not go to the after party on that day.
No, that was at the Wicked World.
It was back at Wicked World. We felt like we'd seen it.
Yeah.
I wasn't interested. The thing about Wicked World is that it's on the exact opposite side of Lexington from the conference. Mm-hmm. Which, yeah, we had a car, but I wasn't interested in another 30-minute drive.
Yeah, there was not a shuttle involved or a way to get there. Yeah. And I don't
want to go to a party where I may want to drink, but then have to drive 25, 30 minutes through strange roads.
That's not something I'm
doing. That's not safe. That's not something I want to do.
No.
We thought about calling an Uber, but opted against it. So, yeah, we ended up instead hanging out at the hotel bar and meeting up with other haunters that were hanging out there.
Yeah, this was after dinner with Maximus.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Yes. How did I forget about that?
I don't know.
That was a really great dinner.
Yeah, it was a good conversation to be had. And the haunters that we met, as you mentioned at the hotel bar, are from Ohio. So Ohio may be back on our list to visit very soon.
Yeah, I hope. We don't have because of COVID, we've not had a list.
Right.
It was the last one on the list. It's not that we removed Ohio from the list. It's that we just yeeted the list.
Yeah.
Try to understand that. We kind of stopped talking about the list of places to check up on because it was COVID times.
Yeah.
So when we do our haunt trips, Ohio is definitely going to be a candidate for me. I would like to go to Ohio. I'd like to see Dent Schoolhouse in particular.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see their haunt.
Yeah.
Alan and Mary's haunt and I'd like to see a lot of stuff in Ohio. It sounds very, very cool.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There is one haunt that we will not be going to.
Yeah.
It comes up in the news. We're not going to give it.
Yeah, if you watch the news, if you listen to our news episodes, you know who the fuck we're talking about already without me even saying anything further.
Yeah, because they are not inclusive.
In fact, even if you don't watch and listen to our news, you probably know what it is. Mm-hmm. But anyways, yeah, and then we went to the hotel bar and I got way too goddamn drunk with other haunters. Yes. I broke every rule I've ever said on this podcast by not going too drunk.
We did.
Oh my God. And I woke up the next day with the worst hangover I've had in years. That was a tremendous mistake, but so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I woke up fine.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. You can shut the fuck up. I think I just got super dehydrated overnight. So yeah. Oh, we didn't talk about the goatmosas.
We did not.
On Saturday and Sunday. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was mimosas, which were $10 each. Mm-hmm. And they were not New Orleans mimosas.
No, but they were still mimosas.
They were mimosas. I know. I'm just teasing.
Uh-huh.
I'm just spoiled.
And the entire weekend, they had 3 goats.
Yeah, they had a little...
And a pig.
Like a little animal pen set up in the corner of it.
Yeah.
And, the whole idea was you drink your mimosa and pet the goats. I opted not to pet the goats or the pig. If I wanted to, I had my opportunities on Friday in particular.
Yeah.
Because there was no one...
Yes, I did not realize at the time that it's a blind piggy.
Oh.
And that there was at least...
petted a blind piggy. That sounds nice.
There was at least one 3-legged goat. So, because this is a rescue center that they were promoting.
So next time I say 3 people and a goat, it's got to be 3 people and a 3-legged goat.
Yes, exactly.
But honestly, Sunday we didn't do much. It was a shortened day the reverse direction. It started at 9:30, ended at a little bit after 12. Mm-hmm. And we basically hit the trade show floor one last time. We caught up with all the people we had not been able to grab. Yes, and we
met up with Holly, otherwise known as Lucy Furris. Mm-hmm. It's the first time meeting her in person.
Really? Yeah.
We interviewed her on the podcast. She was one of our first women in haunting.
Yep.
So we've been keeping in touch and keeping up with her. But
she told us, sadly, she's retired from haunt acting.
Right.
Which honestly, I can't blame her.
I'm wondering how I'm going to do it this year.
Yeah, after seeing how low my stamina was for the conference, I'm a little worried about haunt season 2.
Yeah, we're going to have to start walking or working out or something.
Yeah, we got to do something after.
Because this isn't going to cut it.
But yeah,
she's awesome, and if you ever get a chance to meet her and get your face painted, do so.
Or to work with her in any way, actually. I would any opportunity to work with her, I would take.
Yeah, I went trying to get a face paint a couple of times. Her chair was always full.
Yep.
So,
she was staying very busy.
Yeah.
And that's good.
Which is good.
That's very, very good. She was staying very busy. Mm-hmm. So yeah. But yeah, basically Sunday was us mostly just packing.
Yeah.
Getting our shit together and leaving. Because we ended up leaving the area by about noon and got home a little bit before 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And so that was the our Haunters Against Hate the event experience in a nutshell.
Obviously, Paul and everybody running it were also awesome and friendly and welcoming.
Like I said in the very beginning, the people and the vendors were amazing.
Yeah.
I cannot think of a convention that's had a better community, better...
Right. And there were lots of people in costume walking around because they did have the cosplay contest and the non-bad habit makeup competition. One of those was on Friday and one on Saturday.
Yeah.
And I loved watching so there was a guy in a big costume, and it was steampunky kind of.
Yeah.
But I loved watching him and his friend, or them and their friend, I'm not sure who was under the mask, dancing to the music and
of the drag show and
in the back.
Yeah, they were. If you've seen Night at the Roxbury's with the head bop going,
it
was a lot like that.
Yeah, but with monsters.
With monsters, and
so yeah, awesome.
It was fun. I mean,
and the drag show was great. What I caught of it, and they had drag kings and drag queens, and the Sierra Rain, who was leading it, got very political a couple of times, which was nice because everybody was really supportive of what she was saying. So
yeah, a lot of that was going on while I was talking to Judy O'Day, but and that's unfortunate. But that was me taking the last opportunity I probably had.
Oh yeah. That was you doing you. I was doing me with Ellie.
Well, I did enjoy the parts of the drag show I saw too.
Yeah.
I had a really good time with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's a really, really good event. And if you're in the area and you can make it and you are someone, that fits what this is about.
Or is just a supporter
or just a
and an
supporter.
ally.
I do recommend it.
Yeah.
I know Paul is going to ask for suggestions for improvement, so we'll go ahead and say,
Okay.
well, someone will. The first thing I would say is, I think the scheduling needs reworking. I don't know what way. I've been trying to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
But having repeated events and having it spread so awkwardly over 2 days, but over 3 days, made it kind of difficult. And the schedule got warped a few times and had to be redone on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
I would also like an actual program, because the schedule did not have descriptions.
Or where the rooms were.
Or where the rooms were.
That was finding the people I wanted to go see was my main thing.
Yeah, even though there were only really 2 rooms they were using, it still was a challenge. But yeah, I mean, like when Maximus asked, what do you hope to get out of this talk? I'm like, actually, I just know the title of the talk.
Yeah.
I don't really know that much about it. And it may have been that it was on Paul or Hunters Against Hate's Facebook page or something. But the problem is, thanks to the way the Facebook algorithm works, I did not see every single one of them.
Even going there.
I didn't see them all.
Yeah.
So those are 2 things I would say right at the back. But also one thing that I think would be a huge help for just about everyone: name tags. Such a simple thing. Name tags, have the name, have the pronouns.
Yeah.
We're done. I think that'd be super duper easy to execute for next year, because that's one of the things I struggle with names so bad. I never forget a face, but I will forget your name the second you tell it to me.
Yes.
And so name tags would have been a huge asset for me. Those are the main things I would think trying to work on for next time. The only other thing I would say is the trade show floor was packed, especially on Saturday.
Yeah.
And I think we might, and some of that is, as we were talking about, I think with Drew, we might be a little spoiled in that we've been to like conventions like HauntCon and South by Southwest that are in big convention centers, and they have all this room to spread out. And he said that this is like a lot of horror conventions he's been to, where it's just this is the convention center's this size, and yeah, it feels like you're all stacked on top of each other.
Yeah. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to our listeners who answered that they were going to be there. They did get their gifts. We'll be posting a picture of it in the comments to this episode. But it was really nice to meet you, Lindsay Bacon, and Joanna Rose, and of course Maximus.
Yes.
So seeing him again.
Honestly, we had a great time at this. It was a good event. I could not have asked for a better community, better vendors. It was wonderful. And it speaks volumes to Paul's work in making this an inclusive and welcoming space. That there was never any doubt that everyone was included and welcome. No. That speaks volumes to his work and building not just a community, but the right kind of community. And being very front-facing and being forward-facing about these issues. Yeah. So, yeah, like I said, I really did have a great time. And
considering we just got back from a really long drive, you've got a drive ahead of you. That also speaks to how good of an event it was, because we were able to enjoy it. Yeah.
Honestly, it was a great time. I'm glad we went. I'm hoping we're able to go to it next year, if there is a third one. Yeah. I don't wish to presume, because I'm signing Paul up for work he may not be agreeing to. Yeah. Don't want to do that. If there is one, if Paul deigns to have another. Yeah. I would like to be able to go to it if things work out. And hopefully we're able to plan your time off a little more smoothly. Right. So that we don't have this last minute crunch to go. Yeah. Well, and part of that was that we added in an extra vacation that we hadn't planned on in October, because things have opened back up some. Yeah. So next year we'll just plan like it's a normal year. Yep. Well, I think that's about all we have. Yeah. Honestly, like I said, great event. Highly recommend. Everything about it was, like I said, I remember feeling warm and fuzzy through pretty much the whole thing. And that wasn't just the alcohol talking. Yeah. Maybe in the alcohol talking Saturday night, but it wasn't the alcohol talking. But yeah, it was a great conference, and I'm hoping there is another one. And for only his second event he's ever put on, apparently, Paul's doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Event planning is not easy if you've never done it.
No, it's not. There are so many little, things that could go wrong and things you have to remember, and all of the cogs in the machine have to work together.
Yeah, if you've never done it, be careful criticizing. I'm just saying,
exactly.
Oh, man. Well, on that note, everyone, thank you very much for spending the past 50-ish minutes with us. We greatly appreciate it. Please check out more Haunt Weekly at hauntweekly.com, Haunt Weekly on Twitter, Haunt Weekly on Facebook, and youtube.com/hauntweekly. You can also find us wherever you get your podcast from. We have tons of previous episodes, including an interview we did with Paul, who, by the way, I did not mention this in the talk. He jokingly evicted us for wishing him a happy birthday.
Yeah.
Because that old chestnut's still going.
Yes. Well, and we met the person who started that.
Yeah. Finally got a chance to shake his hand. That was well worth it.
Yeah.
That right there makes it a good trip all by itself.
Exactly.
But yes, check out more Haunt Weekly, all those fine locations. And until next time, we'll see you all next week.